right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And first item I see on here is election of officers. It's hard to believe that it's that time of year again. So Amanda, will you kick us off?
I sure will. Yeah, for this board, we elect a chairman and a vice chair. Of course, chair's responsibility being general leading of the meetings, and a vice chair would take that position in the absence of the chairman. So those are the only two that we elect for this particular board. At this time, I will take nominations for the position of chairman.
In consistency with the training we received, they said it would be stable to keep the same chairman. I nominate Josh Beals as chairman.
I missed out on that training.
Josh, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, gladly. Accept.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And at this time, we will take nominations for the position of vice chair.
I'll nominate Danny Brewer.
Danny Brewer, do you accept your nomination for vice chair?
I do.
And would everyone in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you so much. And I will just say, from a staff perspective, we appreciate citizens who will, number one, serve on the board, commit the time to serving on these boards. And we appreciate all that you do for us, and particularly for those who will agree to serve as chair and vice chair in those positions. We appreciate that additional responsibility.
Thank you. Moving on, I've got recognition of visitors, but I do not see potentially any visitors here for anything else that might, except what might be on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to the minutes for November 29th of 2023.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes as presented for November 29th, 2023.
I'll second.
Motion and second has been made. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes approved. No old business, new business. We've got of course, this is our hearing portion of the meeting, and anyone not on the board will be sworn in. And this is a public hearing for Gerald and Kathy Worcester. Okay, thank you for that. Sorry if I. This is at 609 Scaffold Road, a conditional use request for a short-term rental in an R2 zone. I think we've missed swearing city staff in the past. I guess I should probably do that. So,
Okay.
Amanda, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent.
I'll just provide just a general overview. So on the screen, I have an aerial view of the location of this particular duplex, and they have asked for, my understanding is just the 609 unit. So there are two address points for this, because it is a duplex. So just the 609 portion of the duplex, requesting a conditional use permit for a short-term rental in an R2 zone. So no issues with the duplex, certainly conforms to that zone. And I will just remind the board that in past practice, we have considered two off-street parking spaces designated for that Airbnb or short-term rental, that we have set a 10 p.m. check-in time, and that the conditional use goes with the property owner. So just as a reminder.
I'm not familiar with any conditional use permits for short-term rentals close by? You know what might be the closest?
I'm not sure just off the top of my head, but I'll do a little digging while the owners, are presenting.
Trying to think, I'm not recalling one on Scaffold Canyon.
Yeah.
Just Prospect, just around up the hill and down the hospital.
I don't recall.
Closest one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Closest one I can think of.
Mhm.
Any other questions for,
How many square feet is it? I haven't looked at that deed.
oh, let's, if, this would be a great time, come on up.
Yeah.
I'll swear both of you in at the same time. First, just share your names and address first, yes. And you'll have to speak into the microphone.
My name's Gerald Worcester, and this is Kathy Worcester.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Square footage.
It's around 900.
900 square foot
Okay.
for
I
each
didn't-
side, so it's 900 for the one we're asking.
Column, 200 square foot.
How many bedrooms, how many folks would you anticipate would stay?
We have a limit of 4.
Four.
There's 2 bedrooms,
Okay,
and there's queen-size beds in each bedroom.
gotcha.
Queen-size bed in each bedroom.
What I read here, Mr. Worcester, was that you all occupy 605, am I right?
Correct.
And when you're, most of the time, 609 as well for personal use, from what I read?
Well, yeah, when
You could.
when we don't have someone staying there, we have it open for
We can use the
Our-
bathroom.
bathroom, or if we have, you know, visitors, our family, friends. That's one of the reasons why it's helpful for us, for there not to be a tenant in there, but that we can sort of be flexible and have it open for our family and friends to come in, you know, kids and grandkids to come and stay with us, because in where we're staying, 605, we have ourselves, and then half the year, Kathy's dad stays with us. He's 90 years old. We take care of him half the year. So it's too crowded to have any guests, except we would have, you know, that open for them.
So you're looking at maybe a 4-month span throughout the year of maybe renting it out or something?
Well, I think, weekends, we have done weekends all the time. We haven't had anybody for the last couple months. So it just kind of depends on how things are going with my dad, but I would say at least 6 months, maybe out of the year at least.
Yeah, probably
be.
about 6 months, because, I mean, when Kathy's dad is gone to stay with her brother, that's also the time where we can go on vacation and do things that,
Cozy thing.
so it's not gonna be, you know, it might be 6 months, you know, out of the year, we might use that.
As far as the parking at 605 there, it looks like it's a curved-in driveway.
Yeah,
Will it hold 2 vehicles?
yes. Both sides holds 2 vehicles.
And you currently are letting folks stay there as a short-term rental? You've done that in the past?
We have,
Property?
yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't know.
We didn't realize,
Didn't realize.
we had tenants in there.
You aren't alone in that.
Gotcha.
So we just assumed, since we'd had tenants in there, that it would be okay to rent it
Yeah.
out. So we didn't think anything about it being different.
Yeah, so, yeah, what was the question?
That would you answer the question?
That's a
That
question.
we've already been renting it out as an Airbnb.
Yeah,
For about 6 months.
about 6 months.
Would you be willing to come back later and look at 605 if you decide to stay somewhere longer to make it one connected property? You know, if you're asking for 609 and then you decide to rent 605, that wouldn't be, okay.
No.
I'm just trying to make sure.
This is our home.
This is
Okay.
our home, and our all our personal properties in there and stuff. We-
Okay, I just wanted to get that clear to make sure that you wouldn't swap one for the other, you know? Okay,
We've already swapped one. We
Okay.
did live in 609, and then when our tenant moved out, we moved over to 605, and we are happy there.
okay. There you go.
And just as a little context, a little more information, we do realize that folks don't always know that there is a formal process for short-term rental. And so that is the reason that we, obviously you got the letter, but as soon as they got the notice from our office, obviously, complied very promptly. And again, we understand some folks just don't know. A couple of things that I do need to let you guys know is that if given approval, you will need to contact the Codes and Planning Office for a life safety check. So we'll just do general, checking smoke detectors, egress windows, means of egress paths, very general life safety check. And any short-term rental is subject to transient room tax. So because it is a business, it does require you to have a local business license and pay transient room tax. So we can help you through that process in the Codes and Planning Office as well.
Okay, that's understood and appreciated.
Yep.
Any help we can get.
Yep.
The reason I asked the question I did is because it's unusual. We haven't seen anybody live in one part and then rent out or lease out the
Yeah,
other part of
yeah.
it. Wondered if it would be rough on you or,
No, what happens is that we bought it thinking actually sort of with a plan in mind. This is, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, to hopefully have Kathy's parents come and stay with us, but that didn't work out. They needed help real quick, and we bought the property. We put it in the hands of a property manager and went up and stayed with Kathy's parents, took care of them. And then when Kathy's mom passed, we don't need two properties, with her dad, so we decided to come back down here and just make one side our own. And that's that's our plan. We do have a daughter in the area, that's nice, but we also have 3 other kids that are spread throughout North America, so we look forward to them coming to visit us.
It works well, if I hear what you're saying, it works well with us being next door because we hear everything that's going on. No one's
Yeah.
gonna have a party over there. In fact, people aren't gonna get in that aren't supposed to be there because as soon as we see them pull up, we go out and we introduce ourselves and they know that the owners are right next door and it's worked out well for us.
Yeah.
did y'all have any question about the 10 PM check-in time? Is that gonna be any problem? No later than 10
The
PM?
only question I had about it, we haven't enforced a 10 PM check-in, are they free to come and go as they please? Like,
Yeah.
if they go to a concert or something and come in at 1 a.m, that's okay for them to do that?
I wouldn't,
I think
We-
the initial, and if I recall, one of the reasons that this was brought up initially, is just that when you initially arrive and you are bringing in luggage and you're honking horns and you're closing doors, that was more the idea of it, is to get people in at an earlier time so that we're not disturbing the neighbors. In your all's case, that's you. So maybe, whether it applies or not in this case, that's for the board to decide. But that has been something that we have requested in other conditional use permits.
I see.
I'll just get on the record. It looks like there has been a public notice made of this meeting back on January 11th or thereabouts. So just saying as much because we've definitely had a lot of audience members on some Board of Adjustments and not having any here. Just wanted to get that on the record.
Amanda, there's no on-street parking in Scaffold Cane, is there?
Correct, or Logston Lane.
Okay.
Particularly, I think, maybe on down Logston Lane, but there certainly wouldn't be at that intersection any on-street parking allowed.
This is just a curiosity of mine. The multi-use path down Scaffold Cane, it wouldn't end up this far, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
My understanding, and I've not, fully looked at that set of plans, but I believe that my understanding is that it comes on this side of the road and just to Logston Lane.
Okay.
So I think that's actually its ending point right there. To the best of my knowledge.
That still is a year out from construction.
Actually, probably a few years out from construction. There is one other trail project that's taking a little more precedence, and so that's probably the second in line that we have.
Well, any other questions, discussion? Move for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the proposal for a short-term rental for 609 Scaffold Cane Road with the following conditions. I mean, off-street parking, because you can't do it, and 10 p.m. check-in, because it's neighbors. I mean, there are some neighbors that are kind of close. A 10 p.m. check-in, and the variance goes with the owner of the property, not the property.
Motion has been made for a conditional use variance permit for a short-term rental in an R2 zone, 609 Scaffold Cane, with the conditions of 2 off-street parking, 10 p.m. checking time, and that this conditional use would simply apply to the current owner. Any discussion or second?
Do we want to include the max of 4 people? Do we want to do
Well, that's driven by housing codes, right?
that? Okay.
I'll second the motion as presented.
Motion second. All in favor with the voice vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.